back
Sup, nerds?
to the ASMR Safety Third podcast, where we all talk really, really softly and we kind of caress the microphone. Hey, hello. Oh no,
It's good to be back.
Kevin, that was lining up for the loudest scream. Kevin's like,
but he still clipped the microphone, I think. The loudest whisper.
Making videos and content
is easy.
I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's a lot harder than people think. Cause like I feel like I'm gonna sound like a whiny. I mean, I do sound like a whiny ass, but the podcast, like, well, how hard could it be? You record and then it gets uploaded, and it's like, yeah, but someone has to actually do it.
Somebody has to wrangle all of us.
Yeah,
You know,
We've been pretty good lately.
I was
We
out working
have.
in the garage. I could have kept working, and forgot about this.
But
I
I'll
was
say
taking a nap.
everyone has been shockingly on time, almost eerily on time.
Eerily on time. I think that, like, it's, to me, I enjoy this. I enjoy doing this. This is like I spend all day at home
Kevin,
by myself.
my fingers are so messed up.
And the only time I get to hang out with people is on Riverside.fm, the service that we pay money every month to be able to record podcasts in high definition. That has gotten surprisingly better than it was when we first started using it. So actually, this entire process has become slightly less miserable, and I think it will help the podcast come out on time. I can't believe there hasn't been something like this before, because you think that recording video is like a pretty standard thing, and like podcasts there's a lot of people who do podcasts, so why hasn't anyone figured out how to do this? And it's like, well, this is it. But what I learned, because we talked to some other streaming service thing, and yeah, we had a call with them, and I think the long story short is that video is really, really, really expensive to process. So like the bandwidth required for this costs like actual money.
Oh yeah.
It's not like when you think of like, oh, you're just transmitting small amounts of data over the internet, it's free. Like, I actually think it does, potentially for each of these sessions we do, it's like in the ones of or tens of dollars. And if you're using a service like this frequently, like, the actual bandwidth does get pretty expensive.
Really?
Yeah, like, you'd be like, oh, it costs 5 cents to stream video for that long. Like, no, I think it's actually much more expensive. I talked to a couple people about it. That's what they want. Yeah,
You just got.
I know. I don't think we pay too much for this, so it works. But this is the one time a week I get to hang out with people, because most of the time I'm just at home by myself.
Good. That's what I want.
What, being a loser?
Yeah. I don't want to do anything. I don't like having any obligations.
Like, yeah, like,
I'm in my zone where I can just like sit there and not have to worry about anything. Like any little inconvenience, I can't handle it anymore.
Wait, elaborate, Kevin. What do you mean? Inconvenience?
If it's something as simple as like, oh, my brother's in town. I'm gonna go.
Kevin doesn't wipe his ass anymore, is what he's trying to say. He just poops and puts his pants back on.
No, I hate having like stuff that I have to do. Like, not that I don't want to do the things. Like, we're going to a concert in a couple days, basically, and I'm like, it's like in the back of my head that I'm gonna I have to go do that. So I'm stressed like all week leading up to it. Like, oh, I got to get everything done to go. So I'm like, I don't have to worry when I'm at the concert. But
yeah, but like, you also, I feel that if I don't have forced blocks, I will just always have that mentality. So like, I think a lot of us are the same, and it's like in the worst way possible, where the way I operate and the way I do things is really, really, really unhealthy, because I think I've described it as like, it's not task oriented or like task control, like where it's like, I've gotten this many tasks done, I've done my work for the day. It's like stress control. So it's like, I don't feel stressed enough. That means I'm not doing enough things, and then I do more things. And so, something where it's like, oh, we're going here because like we're going to this concert thing. I don't even know what it is. It's like emo music, old emo music.
Yeah.
That I don't give a shit. Whatever. And I have to go. Like, Chelsea's making me go. Like, I'm gonna go. I want to go, but I also have to go.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
And
I'm not saying no, because I know that it's good to be forced away from having to do things all the time. I don't know. I don't know.
But on the other hand, there's a lot of stuff that you could be doing back at the house.
I have been very productive this week though, so I don't feel as bad going into.
I know you've been busy, man.
I have been. Did I tell you what I did? Yeah, I've been posting. I didn't send you any pictures.
Yeah, you've been sending pictures.
Yeah, I lit off an E-size rocket motor in my garage, taped to a phone.
Was it that bad?
Oh, it was bad. So I made a rocket a long time ago, like a sugar candy in a 2-inch PVC pipe. Basically a bomb.
There's like a fine line between a rocket and a pipe bomb.
I have traveled that line. I have been on both sides of the line.
Yeah.
If you're making rocket motors and you're doing them in PVC pipes, 2-inch PVC pipes, there's an actual chance that they do explode. So just keep that in mind when you're touching them and they're on fire.
Just pretend like they are going to explode, so that way when it does explode, you'll be prepared.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever done anything like this and been close to it. And if I was close to it, it was encased in a steel tube. And one time when it was encased in a steel tube, it exploded. So, anyways, I lit off an E-rocket motor in the garage, and I brought up, I guess, the old big rocket motor because when I lit that one off in the desert, like years and years and years ago, like, you know what happens when you light a rocket motor off just, without the other half of the rocket? Like, you think the cardboard tube is like, it's just a tube with a nose cone and fins on it. Like, the hard part is the engine. No, you need that. You need the cone and you need the fins.
Otherwise
and you need the tube.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever taken like that game on 4th of July where you take the bottle rocket off of the stick and you just like throw it in between?
We don't, because we don't have any cool stuff here.
Yeah. Well, they basically just spin around and they'll shoot like in any random direction and hit you.
Yeah, so imagine that, but there's a 200-gram phone strapped to it. So, yeah.
I saw the aftermath picture of the phone.
Yeah.
But
it destroyed it.
Yeah, don't want to spoil it, but
no. I've got a couple other things lined up that are just really bad, like like airbags.
That's gonna leave like a perfect phone-sized hole in the drywall.
Well, okay. What are the chances that the phone actually goes through plywood? No way.
Through plywood?
I wouldn't.
I don't think so.
No.
Drywall? I think so.
Okay. Because the roof, there's 2 inches of foam. It's a flat roof, 2 inches of foam, and then plywood, and then the shingles or whatever is on top. Like, there's no way it goes through the plywood.
Imagine it goes through your roof, just punches a hole, daylight.
Like, it was fine.
Did it hit you? Did it like come back and hit you?
It did. I was fully decked out, though. I had one of Chelsea's jean jackets on. I had a face shield.
Good armor, yeah.
I had jeans. I had welding gloves on. So, you know what I was thinking about?
What?
People sometimes give us shit for doing stupid stuff. I know we've talked about this before, but like, have you seen like mechanical athletics like BMX and skateboarding and scootering, like, or dirt biking?
Extreme pogo.
Oh my God.
I've never heard of any of these things.
People are flying like 100 feet in the air, like letting go of the bike and doing flips and crap, and then when they land, they just die if they're not on the bike. Or like Knievel when he's like going off jumps and stuff.
I think there's like a very weird line where it's like the argument that some people would say is like, well, they know the risks, and the dumb argument is that they criticize you because they think that you might hurt yourself not knowing the risks. But the weird thing is if you turn around and go, yeah, I know it can explode. I chose not to wear safety goggles. I'm willing to, lose my eye. They're kind of like, oh, well, you do you.
Nigel, what if a kid tries that and they hurt themselves? You should feel
I forgot about
for publishing this on the internet.
I mean,
like, what do you even say to that?
I think it depends on how it's presented. And like I had that happen. Somebody mentioned that. And I'm like, there's always like, what level do you go to before it's like unreasonable, right? Because it could be literally to the point where like you just walk around in public, you could be doing something kind of dangerous. What if someone's watching you and imitates you, and you don't even know they're watching? It's like, what level are you responsible for before it just becomes
like, what if
like
some
out of
kid
your
goes to a skate park and tries to drop in from the huge half pipe and breaks his legs?
Yeah,
like, so does he sue Tony Hawk because he saw him do it?
Yes.
Yeah, I would. Even if it wasn't me, if I saw the kid do that, I'd sue Tony Hawk.
Yeah, you're like, Exactly.
I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater as a kid, and then I got the idea to go on the half pipe, and then my legs are sticking out, and the bones are sticking out.
They ask how old you are. You're like 31.
Just respawn.
Not even a kid.
Anyways, that's what.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever like do skateboarding or roller skating?
I did.
I longboarded in college. It was just transportation, though.
I tried to go off bike jumps before, and sometimes the jumps didn't work. And then when I landed, sometimes my bike didn't work.
We built like little ramps as kids. But we had a skate park in our neighborhood, and I'm like, I'm gonna try this, and I can't skateboard like that. So I tried roller skating, and I was a little bit better at that. But like, man, I went down this one ramp this one time, and I tried to jump like the tabletop thing, and I don't know. I can't do it. The second I hit the ground, like my legs shoot out and my butt slams on the ground. That happened like 3 times in a row.
And then I was like,
Probably
nope.
the most painful.
That's why you have such a flat ass.
Oh,
That's
Well, that's
so
kind of
rude.
about to say he has a huge ass.
Response.
No, I feel like as a kid though, you're more resilient. Like injuries just don't matter as much.
Yeah, it's because your bones are still growing.
No way, bro.
I'm
I was
not a doctor.
crying. I was on the ground crying. Like I thought I broke my ass.
Yeah, but you did.
You did break your ass.
I'm saying like it hurts, but like because I did so many things as a kid. Like you talking about, I built bike jumps, and it's like I remember learning, that when you go off a jump, you got to lift your front tire, or else problems happen. Also, like if you make your jump you jump too high and you just land on flat ground, like your wheels just
explode.
No, the whole frame bends, and sometimes it bends and then gets stuck. So you just fly off your bike.
Were you a thick child?
Man.
No, it's just you fall, you roll on the concrete, you get back up and go, oh.
Were you a regular sized child or were you an extra large child?
I was
I
regular.
don't think I've ever seen anybody bend a bike.
If you go off a large enough jump,
Kids bike too.
Because it's just you're landing just flat on the concrete. So the wheels can't really, they don't
How small
hold
was
very
this
much.
bike?
So wait, what bends? The bike frame or the rim?
No, just the wheel. Just the wheel, like the spokes and everything just kind of like cave in.
Okay.
That's really impressive. How high were you coming down from?
I know.
I feel like I want to know more about this because like either you were like a really big child or you were coming down from like
You're getting
10
some
feet in the air.
sick air.
I don't know.
Yeah. Or the bike was like absolute dog crap.
I don't remember the exact situations. I remember one time, though, where I went full speed down a hill into a fence. And I broke the fence and the bike, and I was fine.
Okay. How old were you?
12. I thought it was when I was 12 and I was going down that hill. There's a whole like backstory as to why I was even doing that. Basically, my friend hit a giant hill near his house, and there was just one place next to like the concrete stairs that people would go down on their bikes. And I don't know if I volunteered to go first or second, but it was on my friend's bikes. This is a kid thing. I don't understand. I was going down as fast as I could, and once I got to the bottom, I went, "Where are the brakes?" Like I thought it was a back pedal brake, so I started backpedaling, and the bike's not stopping.
Turns out the brake was in here the whole time.
No, so I then look at the handlebars, and I'm just like, "There's no handbrakes." I don't know how I got to this point without even checking this.
Pedal brake,
No, but I tried.
yeah.
Backpedaling
No?
did nothing.
Why does your friend have a bike with no brakes?
Just listen though. So then I went, and I was like, in hindsight, I should have just bailed off the bike. But I saw in front of me.
How do you bail off a bike?
I was
You
going over
stuck with
grass
it.
at this point, so I should have
pedaled
just jumped
faster.
because I was going straight for a fence. And
God.
I remember thinking, I was like a 12-year-old, and I just was like, you know what? Like, I thought I wasn't going to make it. I was going really fast, and I didn't think I was going to survive the crash. I remember being as a kid being like, well, that's crazy how this is how it ends.
I think
the
I've had
fence.
exactly one moment like that in my life.
But I hit the fence, and then like I kind of like got up off the ground, remember, and like you touch yourself to make sure
Gross.
you're not like dead.
Matthew, what are you doing down there? It's just- yeah.
Exactly.
I'm fine.
The bike was destroyed, or the bike was broken, and then the fence was broken, and it was a friend of ours that we knew.
So was there a brake?
So I found out later that my friend modded. I say modded very lightly. He took the hand brakes and tilted them till they were like vertical, like you'd have to like lean over to.
Oh, okay.
So when I'm panicking, going down the hill way too quickly, I look down and I just don't see them. I'm holding on the handlebars and I'm like, where are the brakes? But I think I was only like, at 12, I'm not even like 100 pounds probably.
what was the aftermath? Like, whose fence was it? Was the bike totally destroyed? Do you have to buy him a new bike, or was it just?
I remember my friend was furious that I broke his bike, but then he was happy later because his parents bought him a new seat for it or something and got some new wheel or something. He told me later on that the bike was better than before. But I remember my legs were all scratched up. I was bruised. The fence I hit, it's just like a standard like wood plank fence. I think it was broken in some way. Because we knew the guy whose fence it was, and he came to school on Monday and was complaining that somebody broke his fence, and his dad was super mad. And I was like, oh.
I feel like the general rule with situations like that is like if you're using someone's thing and you destroy it, but you like also get hurt in the process.
Oh, when he found out that he thought it was kids vandalizing it, so he was like really annoyed.
Oh.
He thought people just came and just like kicked the fence or something.
Did I tell you what happened to my car in front of my house?
Oh,
by Alan?
Yeah.
No. Well, so yeah, I mean, other than by Alan, so like the Taurus, we had a party in like 2019, and I think that. Like, I always made a joke about how I just sort of like I'd like hit my car, I'd like kick my car, I would, push shopping carts with it. Like, I'd crash in it. Like who cares? It's, piece of shit car. And so Alan, everyone's like drinking. And
so it is an Alan story.
It's a more polite way to say everyone was drunk. And there's just like, this was like the most legendary party we've ever thrown. It was like, you were there, right, Kevin? Were you? Or no? Were you at this one?
I don't think so.
It was like,
I was like, "Don't rope me into
it was
this
like
one."
it was amazing. It was probably we had that party and I was like, man, if we could do more of these, this is gonna be amazing.
At your
place?
Was sort
of in LA. I think like Jacksepticeye was there. There was I can't even remember. I just remember like the fact that he showed up. I was like, holy shit! Like I didn't think he was actually gonna show up.
Oh, the Christmas one.
Yeah, the Christmas one where Peter was flying the Roomba with the jets on it. Oh yeah, if you look at Peter's video of the Roomba, I think you can get a snippet.
I think
of the party.
Yeah, I'm in that video.
You might actually. It was
Jimmy.
God, Jimmy, come on, Jimmy, get out of the way of the camera. Jimmy, what do I do?
Jimmy,
what do I do? I could move the camera.
No, move the Jimmy.
Keep going.
Anyways,
click on.
So Alan was like, yeah, we could, we just like beat William's car up. But they took it way too far. They like smashed the mirrors off. They broke the headlights. Long story short, like the both mirrors are held on with screws now, and the front headlights bashed. And the guy who broke it, his name's Justin. He works at Real Good. He bought me a new headlight, and I never put it back on the car. I'm gonna do now. But long story short, the neighbor kids were like biking or scootering around, and they like crashed into my car and destroyed one of the lights in the. Now, Jimmy. They they crashed their bike into the what do you call like the brake light cover? Like whatever the big plastic thing in the back. So they like punched a hole right through. Is that whole thing? And they like come to the door and like, we accidentally broke the car out front. And Chelsea's like, which car? And like the brown one. And she's like, oh, that's okay. Just let them like. But like I could imagine, if you have something like a piece of property and there's a kid riding a bike and they like smash into it 40 miles an hour and like break their spine. Like I don't think I'd be too mad about whatever they destroyed.
No, he was nice when he found, because I knew that I'd met him before, and when he found out that I think it was an accident, he was like, oh, okay. He just thought it was people vandalizing stuff.
Yeah. It was just a kid almost dying.
I've hit a car before, a parked car on my bike.
Really?
I don't know how. I wasn't paying attention. I was just biking, and I think I looked. I don't know. There's like a squirrel or something.
Yeah.
And you just go.
Same thing happened to me.
You just smash the back of a car.
You like look behind you, and you kind of start drifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took out a mailbox, like gone. Knocked the mailbox right off of the post, like with my fist, and then I just like face planted into the ground because it twisted my like bike tire.
See, that's one of the things. If someone comes out, they go, "Hey, who did?" Oh my god, I feel so bad for this guy.
Yeah,
dude, I remember like right at sort of the end of middle school, but before getting a driver's license in high school. There's like this, maybe like 3-year period where we essentially had cars, or we like treated bikes like cars. Like we behaved like we had cars, but it was bikes. So we would bike everywhere, like all over the city, and it was super hilly where I lived, and so it was exhausting.
Yeah.
But I just remember like going all over the town on bikes because you want to go and do stuff, but you don't have a car. And I think I ate shit real bad, like 2 times or 3 times I don't know if I ever shared any of these, but like none of them were the near-death experience. That was slightly different, but around the same time, where I basically accepted death in the moment. One of them, I'm going down this really steep hill in a neighborhood next to my neighborhood, and my front tire pops. And this is like a piece of shit bike. Like I always had just sort of piece of shit like thrift store bikes, and you have no control. So I can't brake. I can't do anything. And I'm like on the brakes as hard as I can. Like it's just swerving and fishtailing. It's like you have no control. It's almost like you're like on snow. And I'm going down this hill, and there's like a T at the end, and I think that I just like managed to kind of get to the bottom. I think I ate shit kind of bad, but not super bad, but also just like, you know, when you like crash on a bike and you're just like,
yeah, it's always like kind of bad.
It hurts, you're bleeding, but it's not like you're gonna die or anything.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the hospital. The second time, like once as a kid, I hit the front brakes. I learned that lesson once in my life. Don't hit the front brakes really hard.
Oh, I learned that too.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody at some point.
Unless
like,
you're trying to do like, you know,
yeah,
a
don't hit
stompy.
the left brake unless you're also hitting the right brake.
Or either you go over the handlebars or you just smash your nuts on the bike frame.
Yeah. Oh, it's always over the handlebars. And I think I did that once going down like a really dirt hill. Like that was bad. Like going down a dirt hill was the same thing. I think it was a front brake thing. I don't remember. Or I hit a rut. I don't remember. And I just like, you tumble over and you're like, well, now I'm dead. The near-death experience, though. I don't know if I've ever shared this. I built this really crappy go-kart out of a bunch of scooters when I was like, you know, maybe 18. And it didn't have brakes. Because
I mean, I
I
understand
don't know.
that.
I was building a
You don't need
go-kart. I
brakes.
need to make it go. I'll build the brakes later.
You don't want to lose all
And
your
my parents
energy
live
to
on-
brakes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's on a steep hill, my parents' house. And so it's like if I want to use it, I kind of go down the hill. And there's like a T, and it's at the bottom of the neighborhood where like one of the two entrances is. So there's always a shit ton of traffic. And I like put brakes on it. So I was like working on building the brakes. And I'm going down this hill. I think I throttled up, and then I like, of course, you know, trial by fire, slam the brakes. The cable just snaps. So now I'm going what feels like at the time maybe like 20 miles an hour down this like steep hill in this really crappy 4-wheel go-kart made out of electric scooters, heading towards this T intersection that's basically blind. Like you can't see anything. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna die if I come down here and I like careen and like try to like make the T, because you can't keep going straight. You're gonna hit whatever's at the other end of the T, which is like going into the neighbor's yard down like a small drop off. If there's a car coming, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And there was no car coming.
It's
And
lucky.
I thank God.
That was a message. That was
it would have been bad. It would have been bad because they wouldn't have seen me till like right when I came out, and they would have just run me over, and I'd be dead.
And you would have deserved it.
I would
Then we
have.
wouldn't
I
have
would
to
have
do the
earned that
podcast.
one.
Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't have to be
Look
in
at
this
me now.
godforsaken podcast.
Well, think of that. Think that you wouldn't have this delightful podcast if a car. If only
If only we could go back and change.
Finally,
things.
nobody would bother me. Nobody would wake me up from my peaceful slumber.
Exactly. I did a lot of things. Like I just never got really badly injured as a kid. Like one of them was I remember this was still elementary school, so like that's why I'm convinced kids don't get hurt. My friend and I, for a school project, I think we had to go to the park. I don't know why we did this. We had to dig something in the park, or we were doing it for fun. I don't remember. We both had like spades, like ones that were pretty big, like longer than the handlebars. So we were biking with them on the handlebars. And then as we're biking, I turned to him and go, "Shovel wars?" He's like, "Hell yeah." So we start trying to hit each other with the shovels on the handlebars.
Oh my god.
And the wheels, I don't know, the bikes just locked, and we just flew off our bikes with shovels. And I was like, I remember being like, wow, that we could have gotten stabbed by these shovels.
I think.
And then we
it
just got up and then
makes you a
just
better
went-
person.
We just biked to the park. It wasn't even like that big of a deal. I did remember not to try to hit each other with shovels on a bike. I did learn that. That was a good lesson.
I feel like towing the line just really makes you feel alive, though. So, you know, like if you
Speaking
never
of-
experience anything like that, then
With towing a line, did you ever like tow somebody on a bike, like they're on a skateboard or something, or
Yeah.
they're even on another bike, and like you've got to, you know, you're pedaling, they're holding on behind you, holding onto like the rope or something like that, or even worse, it's tied onto their bike, and then like something always happens.
It's always it's like the dunk, dunk, like the compression and decompression where like they go a little faster and then you like go and it like yanks them and it's just like...
Or it's like you turn, they hit the brakes and it makes you like fall down and then they crash into you.
Dude, I miss that stuff, but I also don't really miss that stuff.
I thought I did until because I have a bunch of electric scooters that I would.
Yeah.
I always wear a helmet and I'm careful.
Hey, helmet's not going to do anything if you're going 60 kilometers.
So it's like I was pretty like.
Oh, you gonna explain to me how it's not going to kill you going 60 miles an hour on a scooter?
I'm actually backing you up. So I'm saying that like I would go pretty quickly, you know, in between objects. Like I would just rip around. The one I was on at the time maxed out at 30, I think, 30 kilometers an hour.
What's it, like 25, 20,
23 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going down a hill, so it probably like went up to like 32 kilometers an hour. I don't even know what happened. This was at night. There's a light on it and everything. I think I told you this story. I turned around to mock my brother, and I just flew off the scooter. And it's like I remember sliding on the concrete going, but why is this happening? I'm only going 30 kilometers an hour. And then
it's like, what did I do, God? I'm sorry.
No, but I was like, while I was sliding, I was learning that 30 kilometers an hour is fast.
It's fast when you're made out of meat.
Yeah, and like you immediately realize you can't run that quickly. Because like you fly off. Actually, I think I flew face first, and I landed on my wrist and my elbow. Yeah. And then I slid on my shoulder. But I just remember thinking, like, I was like, this is like school zone speed. Why is this happening?
What is the fastest you can run? Like if you're going downhill where it's purely a limit of how quickly you can move your legs. Like no load.
I would say like, I think it's like.
It's
maybe 20 miles an hour?
No.
20?
No.
But like I'm talking like you have no weight on you. You're not trying to push yourself forward. You literally like if you're in the air running, like how quickly can you move your legs?
Like, so you have the advantage of the hill? Maybe.
Because like there's a point
17?
where you literally just can't move your legs any faster.
I think it's like literally 17 because I know that it's.
I saw a video of some little girl on Reddit running like 30 miles an hour.
What?
Yeah, on a treadmill, doing like what you were saying. It's like they lift you up a little bit.
Treadmill's a little. I feel like treadmills like you can run a lot more efficiently on a treadmill than you can down a hill. I think like if you
lose a bit of speed
down.
Yeah,
there's something about like the impact.
Well, I think it's actually I think it's because since the ground is moving, you're not actually propelling yourself forward. Like there's not a moment. Like you're not moving your mass. I don't know, and it's like and how it moves on. Like the ground moves from your feet. It allows you to recover and move your legs quicker. Because you always lose a couple miles an hour. Or something like maybe not that much, but like a small amount. Because I remember sprinting on a treadmill, and you'd see the speed, and then I would sprint and test it on the ground, and you never. And it's not because there's an incline or anything.
I think a treadmill probably would be like a way to get the right answer. Like because you.
I think it's because you also can stand perfectly in like an optimal running position or something.
Yeah.
There's no wind. Like there's a lot of stuff in your favor.
God, this reminds me. I'm just thinking about all these like horrible incidents. I remember like I had a bunch of these electric
trauma.
Scooters. Yeah, we had a family friend who bought. It's just this is like such a classic like, just middle class man, older man thing. He bought 1,000 returned electric scooters.
Wait, who's
so
this
company, a family friend.
Okay, yeah.
So it was like a business plan of like, oh, okay, so there's this company that like makes electric scooters and they get returns and they sell the returns by the pallet in bulk because they just don't want to deal with it, right? So, you know, imagine you return a product to Amazon and sometimes it shows up in like a YouTube video where they buy a crate full of returned items that Amazon didn't want to deal with processing.
Oh yeah.
And so he bought a bunch of these scooters. It was like 1,000 scooters, and I think they probably cost like $20 each or $30 each or something like that. And he was like refurbishing them. Like he would like take parts to sort of combine and make whole scooters, and he was trying to sell them, and he tried to sell them at swap meets and yada yada. And just like classic kind of, middle class business plan. Horrible business plan. But for me, it was great because we essentially had a family friend with like an indefinite supply of electric scooters. And so that's what I made the go-kart out of. But I also had one that I would just ride around, and it would fold down. Like, so it was pretty beefy. It was like a Razor scooter kind of, but like much bigger, like much like just a thick boy Razor scooter. and like big rubber tires and everything. And it had the joint, that like elbow joint in the middle where it would fold down, so you could like collapse it. But you could also put had a seat post that you could like sit on.
Which would never work eventually.
Which one? The collapsing one?
Yeah, like when so you could fold it
well,
up.
It was pretty thick. It was super thick.
See.
So it was like, I think that, these were much beefier, so it ended up not being an issue. But what happened was one time I didn't tighten it enough. And so I'm like riding the scooter, and the joint, the elbow collapses, and it like pins my legs to the seat. So the scooter is like mid-fold. I'm going like 20 miles an hour through my neighborhood, and the handlebars are like pinching my legs to the seat, and I like can't steer anything.
When I was 18, like I just got a motorcycle, and we were, we would go out and ride around on the old abandoned golf courses.
Why your parents let you get a motorcycle?
Yeah, they hated it, but I was 18. They couldn't stop me.
Yeah, but you're living at home. They could kick you out. So like my parents would have kicked me out if I got motorcycles. Like, you can get one, but you can't live here.
No, they let me have the motorcycle. They wouldn't let me get a gun though.
Damn.
Even though I was 18. But
Just imagine Kevin riding around with his motorcycle and his gun. I'm an adult now.
I was out there on this golf course, and like there was this gate that I wanted to get into like this next area, but I couldn't get over there because like there was a barbed wire fence. So I go over to this other area, and there's like a gate there, and I'm like, oh, we can get over there through this gate instead. Like we can go around the gate because there's no barbed wire here. So I'm like going there, about to go through the gate, around the side of the gate. Guess what? There was barbed wire there. I just couldn't see it. So I hit the barbed wire, and it like came up my handlebars. It caught me across the chest here, and I was wearing a helmet. It caught me right across the helmet, and like.
Was it a trail or something?
Huh?
Was it a trail or something, or?
No, it was just like, well, it was an abandoned golf course, so it still had the like cart path on it.
Yeah.
But it was really overgrown, and like you could ride your bike up the sand, whatever traps.
Dude, barbed wire is a scourge. It's like legal landmines. Like, I cannot believe that barbed wire is allowed in like suburban areas at all.
Yeah.
You hear stories of people
there was
like
grass there, like just tall grass. You couldn't see it at all. And
dude,
I
bet you.
And it didn't look like there was any like between the post and the fence.
If you hit that and actually hurt yourself, I think that there'd be an actual suit, because that's like a booby trap at that point. Because if like law enforcement or someone had to go through there, they could easily do the same thing. Like if there was sort of any reasonable way for you to like travel through there, even though it's like private property. I looked it up. I looked up booby traps.
Well, yeah, this isn't a booby trap though. I mean,
no, it's not a booby trap, but the general premise is like if it's in a situation where like rescue services could get tied up in it. Like, was it in a situation where like rescue people or like like police or firefighters or medics could have entered like?
No, it was deep. It was kind of like between the, I don't know, like the two sections of the golf course. Like we wanted to get in like the back, like a maintenance path basically.
Yeah.
And
so then you reasonably though, like you could expect an ambulance to try to like make their way through there.
Yeah, you could.
And if you
it
can't
would go right
see,
through the barbed wire, though.
No, yeah, I know.
Unless
That's
they come
what
on
I'm saying,
motorcycles.
Is like, if it's somewhere that you could technically travel, even if you're trespassing, and it's hidden, I mean, like, why can't you just put landmines on your property at that point? Anyways,
why not? Kevin's like
gonna come arrest you.
I want to do a video where I test the
booby
limits
traps?
of booby traps because booby traps are like, it's pretty obvious when a booby trap is a booby trap, and it has to do with like, I think it's like indiscriminate. So a booby trap essentially will activate
just with anyone.
With anyone, yeah. It turns out that booby traps, I think, probably end up killing more people that built the booby traps than people they were trying to stop from getting into a place.
I feel like the classic is you set one up at your house, and then you get drunk and forget that you booby trapped your house.
It's just bad. Don't build booby traps. Just let them steal your crap, like whatever.
No, here's what you do: you booby trap yourself.
Yeah.
Your own house. So if you ever forget that it's there, it means you have Alzheimer's, and that way you don't have to suffer.
So I'm never going to be a burden on my family.
Yeah.
I've devised a plan.
I don't want to go to a nursing home, man. I'm just going to rig up the microwave to detonate if I don't like type in a code before I microwave something.
You're going to need a 40-gallon trash bag to get rid of my body. I have this video I want to do. Ever since my neighbors got robbed, like it made me realize after talking to him that if you're gonna get robbed, security cameras, guess what those do? Nothing. They do nothing.
Yeah. Well,
They do literally nothing.
They don't do nothing. You get to relive.
You get to watch.
You get to relive the.
You get to watch.
If you have security cameras, you also need to dedicate one room in your house to make a little movie theater. So you can when someone robs you, you can take the footage, put it in your movie theater, and the whole family can have some popcorn and watch the footage of you getting robbed.
Yeah, your prized possession. You see the guy take it away, and you relive the trauma.
You can invite the police officers in, for a matinee screening of it.
Yep.
You could say, "Wow, this is great."
Yep, and they're
Good
like,
luck
"All right,
getting your stuff back."
we've got people to shoot. See you guys later."
Yeah. If you've ever had stuff stolen, that's basically what it's like.
I realize, like, you don't really think about it until you sort of are close to or experience a situation like that. That none of it means anything. The only thing that's going to do anything is insurance. So I went immediately up my insurance policy after he got robbed.
I thought you were going to say booby traps.
No, well, because that's the thing is nothing matters.
Yeah, it doesn't normally cover theft, does it? So is that extra?
No, it does. It does.
Oh, it does?
If you get robbed or burglarized, yeah. If they break and enter, yeah, I think so, yeah.
Do you have to prove it with security footage?
No, I think it's usually like.
I mean, people commit fraud all the time and just say something's stolen when it wasn't. But it's like you can kind of only do that once.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then you still will, like it's, and then you committed fraud.
That's like
and
one thing you could never get away with.
What?
Fraud.
There's people there's people who have been caught and people who haven't been caught yet.
Yeah.
When it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
It depends on how long you do it for, I guess.
It's like gambling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of literally the same thing, except maybe statistically worse. Because at some point, it starts getting more and more obvious, where it's like it stops lining. Or it's like you ever see those cases where all they have to do is sort their employees by who was on duty when these occurred, and all of a sudden it's like one person pops out. And it's like, oh shit. Yeah, I strongly stand by doing dangerous things because some people don't get the choice of how they go. I want to be in control. I want to Evel Knievel. That's how I want to die.
A fiery blaze of glory.
How did he die?
He probably died in a stunt. There's no way Evel Knievel died of old age.
Or at least you have to you just have to fake it. At least you have one final stunt that goes wrong, and then
yeah. I like every time I think about doing something stupid in a video, I'm like, man, like Monster and Rockstar pay these people to do this stuff.
He died of lung disease.
No way.
What?
Yeah, but was it related to his stunts? That counts.
Wait. No, he didn't. He actually died of like old age, 69. Nice. Diabetes and pulmonary fibrosis, which I don't know what that is. I wonder if that is
the diabetes is definitely from stunting.
One too many hard landings.
Yeah, definitely not. That's what caused the diabetes. Yeah, and same as the pulmonary fibrosis. Both those are classic stunt-related diseases.
I'm trying to think. Like, have we? There's got to be more bad stories from being a child. Like, I'm trying to think of what near-death experiences contributed to my life being better. I'm trying to justify doing dangerous things right now.
I would say all of them.
Probably all of them, yeah. I mean, look at me. I didn't die. I survived.
I think the more risks you take and you come out okay, it's like better for you the rest of your life because it helps you gauge risk better.
Right.
You know?
Do you know how many days it took me to build up the courage to light that e-motor off in my garage? Like 3. Took me 3 days to build up the courage to do it. And then I did the math.
Now you'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do it again.
And that's when you get taken out.
I'm not sure I'd go much bigger than E.
Don't do it, Kevin. Do you ever see the, it was like, what's it called? It was pretty sad. It was a live stream of some Japanese guy. He was like opening boxes or something. I forget what he did. He ended up, his house burned down on live stream.
No way.
This is the Science equivalent. Kevin, no.
Oh my god. What's that? A B?
This is a C.
C. Oh yeah. That one wouldn't be bad.
I have a B. Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
E. This is
God.
probably the same one that you used.
That's the same one, the E12-4, yeah. That thing, if you let that off, without any mass on it,
yeah.
it would be traveling hundreds of meters per second inside of your house. Like it would hit a wall, turn around, immediately get up to like 100 meters per second, hit something else.
Like, put it in a bouncy ball or something, or just put like a big rubber ball on the tip.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Do it
Then it would really
right now, Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely think that there is a
Patreon
market.
Special. We put one
yeah.
of these in a room, solid concrete walls. We stand in the middle. We light it off. You know, it's like the wasabi roulette thing.
Yeah.
Wasabi roulette, but with a rocket.
The thing that scares me a lot more than just getting hit by it is just the jet of unstoppable flame coming out the back.
The good news is it's so fast that if it grazes you, it's not going to be that bad. Like I was completely.
You have the horrible luck. You try to dodge it and it goes up your sleeve or something.
I had welding gloves on and they went over the long sleeves.
Yeah. Okay.
And then so like it would have had to go.
Like it'll just like burn you to the bone.
If you
like, or
did
cookie
that
to the bone,
it would be bad.
If you got stuck in your sleeve, just like blasting you.
If it was like pointed directly at your skin, I think it would just like.
I stuck an A motor in a pair of jeans and burned a hole through it. And
Wait,
I stuck a motor in like a pocket.
Oh, okay.
And set it off to see what would happen, and it went through the jeans in like a fraction of a second. So like it's like it was like if the motor's like held in place, that's bad. Yeah. But if it has the ability to move, like it. Ford sold a car in the 60s or 70s that would lock the doors and the gas would spill and kill the people inside. Like, you can light a couple rocket motors off in your garage.
I mean, you never had this experience again, Will, but lighting off bottle rockets in your hand or something like that, and it's like, whoosh, just like, burns you for a little bit.
Yeah. I've gotten burned way worse
did
cooking.
You have bottle rockets?
No, not here. I mean, I played with bottle rockets, but I never. Dude, you saw me went to the fireworks store in Florida. I was like, that was a childhood experience I never had. We had like sparklers and fountains.
Dude, that's so sad.
What do you Freudian slip? Or dyslexia. Yeah, no, we had crap fireworks, and so in Florida, or no, the first time was in Ohio with Peter. We went and got some, and I was just like shitting bricks.
That was great. I think you had to go to a different state or something.
Yes, the second time was Indiana. So when we went to Indiana from Ohio on the way to Ohio, went to Indiana to get fireworks. That was like, oh my god, that was amazing. It was like Costco with fireworks.
Yeah.
It just like the 12-year-old. No, I don't even say 12. The 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old, 19 and 20-year-old in me were like squealing. Like, oh my god, like in California you'd be like, oh, these are like Mexico fireworks. Like you had to go down to Mexico to get these.
Oh, what are Mexico fireworks like? Can you get the good stuff down there?
Yeah, I think it's mortars, probably bigger mortars than you can get here. I think otherwise people will come from like Arizona or New Mexico or something.
We used to go to Indiana also. I lived in like Illinois, and we would cross over to Indiana to get the fireworks. And we would go to this place, and it was an independent fireworks store, not like the Black Cat or the Phantom Fireworks or whatever. And this guy would he had literal like cherry bombs and M80s. He would just like put a couple in the bag here and there. Totally illegal, but it was great.
Oh, yeah. Man.
I know. You don't get that anymore.
No.
Kids these days have all their fingers.
Parents, man? Like,
it's so stupid.
Why are the old people so lame? Like, did you see what they grew up with?
They did all the cool shit.
But that's how they know.
And then you look at it's like,
Kevin, that's
like,
how they know kids
it
shouldn't have it now.
They are the people who did the worst things, and then who from then to now made rules so that you can't do the things.
I know.
The people who did the things.
That's how they know it's bad.
Like, I want to buy it. Why can't we have M80s?
Kevin, have you seen how many people's
Your
hands
parents
got
were
blown
obviously
off?
Like, oh well, whatever. A couple of kids blow up their hands. I'm not going to ban M80s.
We got the internet. We just publish videos of what happens when.
But
you
people still blow their hands up. So it's the tradition's still holding strong. They just don't use M80s.
Sounds like we need to ban alcohol and legalize fireworks.
Exactly.
People's risk assessment is so bad. Like, why do we still have alcohol and cigarettes, but we're not allowed to play with fireworks?
Yeah,
It's
I
actually
don't
insane.
alcohol. I don't think alcohol is scheduled at all in the drug scheduling. Is alcohol?
No,
because
no, I don't think so.
Because if you made alcohol illegal, you'd have to stop drinking.
Yeah, it's not scheduled. Alcohol
No.
is not on the drug schedule.
Okay, give the U.S. some credit.
That's insane, right?
Give the U.S. some credit. They tried. They really
Did they?
did try to stop alcohol.
Well, I think the fact that
And they
that
gave
scares
up.
me is that no, but like, okay, I'm not saying prohibition. I'm
They
saying
tried, though.
they don't even consider it. They don't even consider it to be potential for
drug.
abuse. Yeah, like a drug.
It is kind of like when I've spoken to some people before, and you ask the person like, oh, do you like? I mean, someone I don't usually ask this question, but somebody asked them like, oh, do you ever do any drugs? And the person's like, nah. And then someone goes, but you drink and smoke. Yeah, but those aren't drugs. It's like, what do you think they are? They're literally just drugs.
I know.
Do you know like the drug schedule has to do with potential for Schedule 1 is, I feel like we've talked about this a couple of times. I love this. This conversation is like one of my favorite examples of
that
the
really
government being
needs to
absolute dog shit sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Like you want rules, make rules, but then make the rules make sense. So drugs with no currently accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse is 1. 2 is drugs with some medically acceptable uses but with high potential for abuse and or addiction. So like alcohol should be Schedule 2, right? Because like there are some medical like it's a methanol, like an anti-methanol thing. I feel like we talked about that, right? Where you drink methanol or you drink ethanol to stop metabolizing methanol.
Yeah.
And then Schedule 3.
It's like pre-curse.
I don't know what it's scheduled.
No.
Yeah, but like so, tobacco and alcohol are not on the list. Tobacco. Is there any medical use for tobacco?
Nicotine is I don't know. I mean, you could argue, what does it do? It's a stimulant. It kind of like, it's a blood vessel constriction thing. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of
I'm not
at
a
least
doctor,
one
but
way that it affects acetylcholine. Like I think it's like it affects muscles and something in your brain.
I've never heard of anybody being prescribed nicotine.
No.
Nicotine
But I'm saying there could
have
be like
medical
obscure uses.
Here's the medical use. Nicotine is used to help treat addiction or dependence on smoking cigarettes.
Hell yeah.
Jesus.
So I think, long story short, what am I trying to say? Something about what kids should be able to do drugs or something? Was that what I was trying to say?
I don't know. I get how do you schedule things, like how fast this drug will ruin your life if you had unrestricted access to it.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I don't know. I just think, okay, like here's the thing. When you're a kid, what is the one thing you don't want to do?
Go to school, do homework.
The things your parents tell you to do, the things you have to do, right? Like, why do kids do drugs?
Well, I mean, besides the obvious, I think there was a thing
because they can't get fireworks.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I think there was a thing though with one of the it was a major anti-drug campaign that actually paradoxically increased drug use, because like the way that they presented it, people not only learned where and how to get drugs. I think there was.
They thought they were cool.
Yeah, they made them. They showed cool kids and people in it.
Yeah.
So it's like they actually made the drug use go up.
I remember one of my assignments in art class. It was like the dare section of art class. We had to draw a scene where like drugs ruined somebody's life. So I draw this guy like in a convertible drinking a beer, like shooting up a needle, like a needle sticking out of his arm. There's a bunch of like pills all over, like in the sky. There's like a weed,
that sounds
like a
awesome.
pot leaf or something. You know, we just had to like show all the drugs and, you know, like why drugs are bad.
And
oh my god,
it was pretty sick.
I just like I feel like there's some sort of total like, it's something really inept about, you have like a teacher telling you drugs are bad, this, and then they go home Friday night and like go to the bar, have some drinks, and like don't correlate like the two being like how can you think that all these things are not okay, but this thing, which is exactly the same thing, is okay? Like it's like just brainwashing and propaganda.
oh,
at
it
that
is.
point.
It's 100%.
It really
Like,
is.
And that's terrifying. Like sending your kids to school and they're basically learning things that are just this very weird, like like corporate, lobbying, like trickle down corporate policy manipulating U.S. government policy. Like,
Yeah.
I think
like you're not actually learning anything, because if you were, they would have this whole campaign against alcohol too. Like,
I don't know. I just think it's weird because it's all these drugs. Like, I mean, you can name whatever illegal drug you want, but
Cocaine is Schedule 2.
really, well, it's because it can be a local anesthetic.
Yeah.
For, like, it's used in dentistry and stuff.
cocaine's super useful. You can get a bunch of work done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, weed was Schedule 1 though.
Yeah.
I should don't know. I've
But
never-
I just think it is ridiculous because I find that, like, kind of what you commented before. You're like, what drug should you not just have like that if you have full access, it leads to abuse. It's like almost all of the scheduled drugs, they're borderline full access. Like, the only thing preventing you from getting your hands on drugs is like just a minimal amount of time and effort. Like, I guarantee you don't know anybody potentially who would like sells any of that, but you can find out if you put the effort in. I guarantee you, if you went out, like, it's 8:00 where I am right now, I could leave and come back, and by the end of the night I would have whatever drug I'm looking for.
Now that sounds like a Patreon challenge.
yes, what would we call that one?
Like, I'm pretty sure
Dare.
I'm pretty sure in
The Dare challenge.
in most major cities, you just have to
We
go to
reach
bar
into
to
a hat,
bar
we
and
pull
just
out a
ask
drug they
random
have to get.
people. And within like
For drugs.
I think within like less than an hour, very quickly you'll have some sort of
probably
lead,
Definitely.
and within less than an hour
The
you'll
hardest
have
part about it would be convincing them that you're not. a
Yeah,
cop.
exactly.
That's what you open with. I'm not a cop.
I'm not a cop.
Where can I get
I find
drugs?
these drugs?
Where do they sell drugs
But
around
it's just like
here?
these laws are
What's
just
the
never
newest,
restricting
darknet
people.
market?
What, the Silk Road? That was a thing based out of like Quebec too, I think, or something. The guy, I think, was Canadian. Something involving Canada. I remember that.
So I have a question. What's the difference between drugs and sugar? Like, from, like a maybe philosophical to, but like you see what I'm saying, right?
I will tell you,
Okay.
based on what I think. No, it's sugar doesn't have a direct psychoactive impact. So it's like there
Right.
isn't a sugar receptor in your brain that reacts to the sugar.
But it
Right.
does have
No,
some
no,
kind
but-
of psycho impact.
But it can lead to addictive things in the same sense as like gambling and other stuff. Whereas if you have cocaine, meth, alcohol a bit less, but it's like cocaine and meth, just directly dopamine and other stuff just get dumped in your brain. Like, it's just that's a free dopamine hit. And then alcohol directly increases the amount of like inhibition in your brain, which
But the drug scheduling doesn't. It's about potential for abuse and medical use.
I'm not arguing that's good. I'm just saying, like, sugar,
Right.
you feel good and then you associate positive things with it, and then it's like,
Right.
so you can get addicted, but it's not truly in the same sense as like a
an
dopamine
addiction
injection.
is basically like it's got to be producing dopamine.
But I'm saying it's
if you're,
indirect.
like-
I think it's indirect.
It's like a reward. It's like, oh, I get this sweet, tasty treat, and then that's
Right.
like that causes your brain to release this chemical, so you just want more of
Yeah,
this
yeah,
because
yeah.
your brain is telling you like, oh, good job, you did something good, and that's broken for some people.
Yeah, I mean,
Or it's like,
that is the basis of like a lot of addiction. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of actual drugs, you don't even need to have that like positive association. You can just take the drug and you just instantly get more dopamine.
So then, what would be like? Is there like an equivalent, maybe? Like, so Schedule 3 drugs includes anabolic steroids. I don't think that makes you feel good. No.
No, I think it probably makes you feel bad, if anything.
Schedule 4 includes Xanax.
Wait, really?
what?
Yeah. So that's way down the list.
That's weird because that's like a pretty dangerous drug.
And they're
Schedule 5 is Robitussin.
hell yeah,
Part of
that's
the
like
drug.
cough syrup.
Really? I feel like that probably gets abused way more.
Yeah, that's just because they can't get access to the good stuff, right?
I feel like there's something a little disturbing about like I think we all agree gambling is generally bad for people, right?
No, it's
Like
Yeah.
what are redeeming qualities
it's a
of
very
gambling?
rewarding
like it's entertainment.
No, it's horrible.
It's entertainment, right?
It's entertainment with the massive potential for life-ruining abuse.
Right. So it's like, to me, it feels like gambling is very similar to a drug, which I guess is like, you don't really have to prove that to anybody because I think it's an addiction. And
it's absolutely an addiction.
Am I out of focus? And it is okay because people make money off of it. So it's like the only reason it exists is because it puts money in people's pockets. Like I think
the fact that private people are making money from like people that are addicted to gambling, that's messed up.
I think that's probably the only reason that weed is legal too.
Wait, is
like
illegal
I bet you
or
that
legal?
people have dumped legal or in some places becoming legal. Like I bet you people are dumping a ton of money into legislature because there is
one of the big accident lawyers in my area is like, spent
super
all the
lobby.
money to try to get it legalized.
Yeah.
He's also got like thousands of acres of farmland.
Yeah. So it's like there's something a little bit, not even a little bit, like extremely disturbing seeing the sort of pathway of like things that can make people money tend to be justified. But if you can't make money off of it, then you start to think like, well, why are illicit substances so illicit? And it's like, well, is it because they're bad for people or because it potentially undermines someone's money? And it's like, oh, I don't know, like because gambling's bad for people, alcohol's bad for people, but like, why? I
think it's just a very complicated. Like, it's not a cut and dry reason because it's like, for example, here in Canada, weed is just legal. I think you can, it's just legal. It's not like you can buy, the government sells it to you.
Same with California, yeah. Well,
that's how it should be.
Yeah, so it's like we have alcohol is sold to us by like the hard liquor is controlled by the government, and so is the weed. Right. The private companies grow it, and then it's distributed by the government.
But then it's like, how hard is it to become a grower?
Oh, in Quebec it's weird, but in Ontario you can just legally grow plants.
And then you could sell it to the government?
No, I don't think so. I've had friends who worked at like grow ops. There's some in my area and stuff. They're not really that. There's security and everything, but all I was gonna say is the main premise behind legalizing it was there was so much money prosecuting people. Like you used to prosecute them, send people to jail. You paid like mass amounts of money just to police all that stuff, and they're like, why don't we just stop paying that? Earn money on selling it because everyone's doing it anyway who wants to do it, and then you take a bunch of that money and you actually just put it into educational stuff and to rehab and for people who do just have problems, because everyone who wants to do it, realistically, it failed stopping them. Like there was in Montreal before it was legal, it was like you could walk downtown and probably in 5 minutes you could probably buy something from somebody.
I love that you know this. It just makes me. I have so
I've
many
been
more questions
offered.
I want to ask you when we're not recording.
I've been offered. There are like certain times you walk through a park and you'd be offered like 3 times, and you're like, "Come on, man! I'm just trying to walk through a park."
Did I ever share my drug solicitation story in Vegas?
No.
It's like 2 a.m. I'm in a casino. I think we were like making our way back. I kind of hate Vegas, but I'm at a slot machine, and this guy comes up and he's like, yo, you looking for an 8-ball? and I don't know anything.
Like,
like,
yes.
I don't. Drugs are not my thing. And I like near death experiences.
Yes, exactly.
But not like bungee jumping. I'm like lighting rocket.
You get high on adrenaline.
I don't even like doing that. I just think it's I like filming it because it looks funny on camera. The first thing he asked is if I wanted weed.
Damn it! You should have said.
I said no. Then he asked if I wanted cocaine, and I said, if I didn't want weed, what makes you think I want cocaine? And then I think he said there was something about I'm just, testing my luck or something like that. And he walked away. I was like, okay.
I was gonna say too, an 8-balls also can be a mix of cocaine or crack and heroin.
You know what, Nigel? I appreciate you so much. I don't think you quite understand how much I appreciate.
We're gonna buy some drugs, guys. I'm on
www.drugs.com.
Oh wait, Kevin, you're talking about the drugs you can just buy from China? Because they've cracked down on a lot of it, but there was a time where it's like you could just.
Oh, earlier, I was talking about the research.
Yeah, you could just buy
like
weird, and I had friends.
You could buy some stuff on AliExpress that was like very.
Dude, I had friends
legal.
who would just buy stuff, and a friend told me a story. He's just like, yeah, I'll just try random stuff that's like experimental, and I'm like, oh my god, that is so beyond dangerous. But some of them on AliExpress, it wasn't Ali. Someone mentioned another Chinese website or something. They would sell stuff that was like just basically, it was just straight up drugs, basically. But because it wasn't officially scheduled or recognized by the Canadian government,
Salvia.
it's kind of like the whole salvia arc, where it's like, I remember there were stores in Montreal that just sold salvia until they realized it was bad.
I just am so paranoid. I'm so paranoid about stuff that I just don't.
But why are you afraid
drugs.
of? I think salvia is the funniest drug.
Was in a park in the middle of the night with a bunch of friends.
And you did salvia?
I didn't do salvia. They did salvia. And I can't describe it as anything other than something straight out of a goddamn zombie movie. Like, they literally ran into the hills, like into the trees, and disappeared into this, like, sort of, I don't even want to call it a forest. It's like a shitty California forest. And I was sitting there thinking, like, oh, shit. They're going to die.
But the problem is that you didn't have the salvia too.
I think it might actually give you permanent brain damage.
I think what was so funny about salvia was that I think only young, stupid people did it. Like, actually. I'm not saying...
Were they stupid before they did it, or were they stupid after
I think that... I don't think the drug changed them in any way, honestly.
Okay.
I'm saying young and stupid as in, like, it's kind of like the thing where it's like you taste something, like, oh, this is horrible. It almost made me vomit. You want to try some? And the guy's like, yeah, I'll have some. Oh, you're right. It almost made me vomit too. It's like...
Drinks the bong water.
Why would you do that? And, like, salvia... Nobody ever... There's no recorded positive experience at the time.
No, it's all you hear about is the experience
and how bad it is.
You don't hear about it. How well, yeah, I would say bad. Like how just. I don't know. Is bad the right word, or is it
never,
like?
It was never.
It was never good.
It was all. It's like you watch a movie and people are like, "Is it good?" And you're like, you just have to see it. It's like
it's a movie.
It's always just like, yeah, you gotta just experience it. There's never a glowing positive review. People go, you know what? I want to try that. I'm gonna go out of my way to experience this at best mediocre experience.
I think that's how I feel about safety in general, and like being young or being a kid and whatever. It's like the thing you do is the exact opposite of what your parents want you to do.
I never really had that.
That includes. You didn't? I mean, did your parents? Were they super strict?
No, they let me kind of do anything I wanted. No?
Well, that's why. That's what I'm saying. Is like, you know, if you're not allowed to be dangerous or you have to be overly protected, like you're gonna go crazy. If you can't, you know, I'm not saying your parents should endorse drugs, but like the more you sort of try to like contain something and like, you know, a person,
then they're gonna go out of
the
their
more
way.
you want to do all these other things. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for listening. We're gonna record an extra, and if you want to support us on Patreon. Oh yeah, we're gonna start putting the names of everybody on Patreon on the screen. Whoa, look at, they're like flying across the screen. All the people that support us on Patreon. Ooh, I wonder what do they get? Someone, what is $5?
Well, it's like that time I smoked salvia. Look at them go.
Whoa, that's so cool. There's something. There's like a shark. This one's riding on a. No, we can't. We don't have enough budget to pay an editor to do that. If you guys want to support the podcast, you can go to Patreon where you get some extras, which we're working on getting edited. Then also we've got the Galaxy Brain tier, which is it the Galaxy? I'm so bad at this. You get a signed Polaroid of one of us every 3 months. So if that interests you, I think everyone that has gotten them has had a lot of fun with it. Go over to Patreon. The link's in the description below. And we'll see everybody in the extra that we're going to record right now. We'll see you gamers next week.